Hey, it's Losing Sucks. Late night on a Wednesday. And I gotta tell you, part of me, even when I was saying Wednesday, wasn't sure exactly what day it was.
It is indeed Wednesday.
But we are here. We're heading into week 8. Things have happened. We've got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. We're just a week away, Travis. Less than a week until the Halloween holiday, and also the NFL trade deadline. A lot of narratives to talk about.
Already?
Yeah.
Wow,
we
that's
are
early.
6 days away from the NFL trade deadline, and we've got some hot names that are going to be popping up. And I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about kind of the rumblings around. And we've got some interesting topics to kind of banter back and forth on. More specifically, some takes that we had all the way back in week 1 and how those are sitting, how those are feeling. And we'll kind of resonate on those. But more importantly, how are you doing on this middle of the week now?
I'm doing fine. If the eyelids look a little droopy, it's more because of the heavy, dark pumpkin ales that are in my system right now, more than it is the bright, shining lights of a fantasy football studio, aka my closet.
Of course.
Brock Purdy might not play. Sam Darnold, fire him up.
What a world.
We did say midsummer. I don't remember the date of the tweet, but I remember what it said. I tweeted, when Sam Darnold is the starting quarterback for the 49ers, he will be a top 15 quarterback. Now that we are 7 weeks in, and Brock Purdy's QB9, do you think that's accurate this weekend to assume top 15? Top half of the league is all I'm asking.
I don't want to spoil what's coming up in the show. But there's a certain segment that we do every week, and I believe that Sam Darnold will be part of that segment. So
he basically said, "Hey Brock, mine's longer.
And
I'll show you."
Let me tell you, Brock, the carpet matches the pubes.
Oh, wow. Bold red pubes. Interesting.
For sure.
As far as opening remarks, I have a little something I drew up about 30 minutes ago. In honor of it being Halloween weekend this weekend.
Okay.
Dustin, I will be headed to Mexico City for the Formula One race tomorrow.
Wow.
The race is actually not till Sunday, but I will be there Thursday through early Monday morning. And they will be celebrating Day of the Dead. They take it a little seriously over there. It should be fun.
Do they kill people? Is that how serious they're?
Well, if I'm not back next week, that's possibly why.
Oh God! All right.
But I wanted to ask you and our listeners, whoever's here tonight, give me a few of the highest scoring games. Because it's Halloween weekend, who are you afraid to line up against?
Yeah.
And today's fantasy football, who are 3 guys that when you see opposite of you in your matchup, you think he could completely blow up my entire week and bury me, put me in the grave before Sunday at 3:00.
For sure.
Who are a couple names?
So there are a few, and one of them isn't as obvious. So one of them, obviously, I'm going to go with always Christian McCaffrey. It is absolutely terrifying. I'm facing him in our home league this week, and I really need a win. Not my favorite. The next one, without injury this year, I'm terrified to face David Montgomery.
Wow, nice wild card.
The usage he gets and just the bulldozer Jamal Williams role, it's absolutely terrifying. Not great. And then, of course, the last one, and this one, it's only because he's not good enough to be the best player on their team, so he has other talents surrounding him most likely, is Gabe Davis. I don't like facing Gabe Davis. I don't like it at all.
You've seen him go for a few touchdowns.
I've seen him go for 10 yards, 30 yards. I've also seen him go for 3 catches for 129 yards and 3 touchdowns. So it's like,
he doesn't bring the fear into you that Tyreek Hill does, though.
No, few do. But I just know that, okay, this is probably their third wide receiver or their flex.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, I most likely not losing because of him. But I could absolutely lose because of him. But yeah, Gabe Davis would be one of them.
I'm with you. Ben says Travis Kelce, Christian McCaffrey, and Lamar Jackson. Travis Kelce, for sure, in any kind of tight end premium, can bury you quickly. Christian McCaffrey, everybody knows. And Lamar Jackson is a great one. Yeah. If you're going into Monday night and you're up 30, 35, and he has Lamar Jackson, you don't feel great.
No.
You just don't.
Not so much. Nope.
The odds are in your favor, but you don't feel great because we're naturally pessimistic in this industry.
Damn right.
I will ask you, there have been an hour time of playing fantasy football together. There have been 5 guys, 4 of them still playing in the NFL.
Sure.
For all 4 of these guys starting, playing probably 90+% of snaps. But the first one is no longer in the NFL. Can you tell me somebody who has scored over 59 points in a single game in the last 10 years?
Did Alvin
Running
Kamara
back.
do it?
Kamara's on the list. I'll give you credit for that one. He is one of the 4 still playing. That was 56.2, the Christmas Miracle.
Sure. I think so. He did it. I think Adrian Peterson was one of them.
Do not have Adrian Peterson on the list.
Okay. Who else who's gone crazy? Was Todd Gurley one of them?
Nope.
No. Damn. All right.
We're talking over 55
over
points
55.
in
All
a
right,
standard PPR
Oh
league.
wow. Okay. Well then. Let's go with Joe Mixon for
Joe
sure.
Mixon. I didn't think you'd get that one. Joe Mixon, 55.1.
So I remember that one just because he ruined the breakout game for Justin Fields for me last year.
Mixon just shitted on it.
Oh, nice game, Justin. Watch this.
Justin Fields, honorable mention for somebody who I am terrified to line up against.
Absolutely, that's terrifying.
You're missing 2 current players and 1 who is the highest scorer of our generation.
Is Christian McCaffrey there? Is Christian McCaffrey? No. Derrick Henry.
No.
Wow. All right.
The highest scorer is a running back who played for the Chiefs.
Okay. Geez, Kareem Hunt, huh?
No,
Jamal Charles.
Yes.
Jamal Charles.
Nice call.
Okay.
And the 2, Jamal Charles, by the way, 59.5 points.
That's a callback. All right.
The 2 receivers are currently top 5 ranked fantasy receivers, even now.
One of them has to be Diggs.
No.
Wow.
When you think top 5 fantasy receivers in the league, you think who?
Sure, Cooper Kupp and Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek is a yes. Cooper Kupp, no, has never broken 50. Tyreek Hill has 57.9. He is second most in our lifetime.
Yeah.
And finally is Jamar Chase. A couple years ago in the playoffs, 55.6. Eric Finkston took me down on the back of Jamar. Those are some scary performances. What we have next, Dustin, you alluded to earlier. Actually, Ben says A-Chain and Mostert this year. I think they both were in the 40 range. Both very scary. Very scary. Backfield in general, yes. I don't think there's probably ever been a backfield combined for that before.
Yeah, terrifying.
Week 1, Dustin, I listened to our Week 1 episode in full today.
Okay.
And I thought to myself,
my God,
we should review the takes that we have, whether they're overreactions or just being blind to what's coming our way.
Yeah, sure.
For some accountability. We got some right, we got some wrong. Let's look at some of them that stood out to me.
Perfect.
Dustin says in Week 1, this is post-Week 1 games, by the way. Dustin says Tyreek Hill will be the wide receiver 1 overall in 2023. This is before Jefferson got hurt, so that does not count. You can't say, oh, well, JJ got hurt. No, he said it with him healthy.
Yep.
It was not a crazy bold take because he's been wide receiver 2, I think, as recent as last year. But he is 30 points higher than the number 2 receiver right now, Stephon Diggs. Tyreek Hill is an absolute league winner.
Absolutely.
And we'll follow that with one that I said. Tyler Algier is an every week flex starter this year, regardless of what Bijan Robinson does.
Yeah.
Tyler Algier at times has been shaky, but on the season so far, he's running back 27, which is a flex starter every week. If you're just outside RB2, you are definitely a flex starter every week. Tyler Algier, great value so far, especially in some of the points per
He's
carry
had some
leagues.
rough weeks, though. I see he's had some blow-up weeks, but, man, he's had some...
That's all it takes. Everybody has them.
He's had 2 good games, and the rest of them have been absolutely awful.
The numbers are there. If you start him, you will get on average running back 27.
And you will be 2-5.
And you'll be pissed.
Yeah, you will be 2-5. Congratulations.
This is called statistical manipulation.
Uh-huh.
Dustin says Rashid Shaheed is a top 36 receiver this year after week 1. He is currently wide receiver 41. That is very close. I also agreed after you took that take that he will be a top 36 receiver. We are both close. There's time. Doesn't take long with Shaheed.
Nope.
One that you will be very proud of, Puka Nacua is real. You went on a 3-minute rant about how Puka Nacua is going to be a mainstay, was your quote. Puka will be a mainstay this season. After 1 week of watching him,
Yeah.
you said, no matter if Cooper Kupp comes back week 4, week 6, week 8, Puka is the real deal. We are watching Robert Woods Part 2. Go get him and bid 25% is what you said of your waiver. What would you bid what would you bid now? 100%?
100%.
You have
100%.
to.
Yeah.
Crazy that we said 20, 25 at the time.
Yeah, at the time, there was still uncertainty with a lot of people. But I've even changed my tune on that. I think another bold take for Puka, go ahead and trade whatever first outside of the top 3 or 4 picks in a rookie draft next year for Puka.
I don't know if you'll get him for that.
Probably not.
People are believing the mainstay.
I value
they're
him.
on to what you were on.
I value him the same way I value Stephon Diggs.
Do you value him like Cooper Kupp?
I would. Yeah. I would be willing to pay for that.
That's
Yeah.
one that I'm going to have to cut into a graphic. Puka Nacua should be valued like Cooper Kupp and Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
In Dynasty.
Yeah. You should.
I don't hate it. Dalvin Cook, according to Dustin, will still be fed alongside Breece Hall.
Yeah.
After week 1, it looked like that. He looked like he had juice. However, he is currently running back 63 and has been unplayable and, in fact, cuttable.
Yeah, absolutely. He had 13 carries week 1, and then after that, 4, 8, 5, 6, 3. Yeah, you can cut him. He's dead.
Robert Saleh was like, gotcha, bitch. Dustin says Rashad Bateman is unplayable in 2023. Survey says he is wide receiver 101 on the season. I would say that's unplayable.
Absolutely.
Jarian says he dropped Dalvin.
Yeah.
Smart
Good on ya.
move. He's a roster clogger.
Get rid of him.
Travis says Jacoby Myers will not finish anywhere close to Devontae Adams. Week 1 was a complete fluke. 6 weeks later, after that hot take, Devontae Adams, wide receiver 10, Jacoby Myers, wide receiver 12. To me, that sounds pretty fucking close.
That's pretty close. Those numbers are very, very close.
Very wrong, Travis. You are. Dustin says David Montgomery. This is one of my favorites. Oh, it makes my balls tingle.
What?
Dustin said David Montgomery will only be a between the 20s guy.
I could not have been more wrong.
Dustin, one person and only one person leads the National Football League in red zone touches per game in 2023.
I am
Who do you think the
exposed.
number 1 player in the league is?
Well, it's not Jahmyr Gibbs. I'll tell you that much. It's not Jahmyr Gibbs.
It just so happens to be David Montgomery,
Goodness gracious.
who you just compared to plodding along as if he were Jamal Williams. David Montgomery's special, and you were wrong.
I was wrong.
Another Dustin take here before we get to Travis. Dustin says DeAndre Swift will not be a significant part of the Philadelphia Eagles offense this year. He actually said, I prefer Kenneth Gainwell. DeAndre Swift is currently running back 6.
So there's
Nice.
time. So there's time for him to take
To
over
suck.
the back. Yeah. We've got. Oh man. Oh, that hurts. Yeah.
So we've gotten a lot wrong.
Yeah.
We'll finish with one on a good note. Travis says Alexander Madison is going to. Actually, it's only a good note for one of us. Alexander Madison is going to get the Dalvin Cook workhorse load, is what I quoted, in Minnesota this year. Dustin says, wrong. I like Ty Chandler more than Alexander Madison this year. Alexander Madison, Dustin, here's a fact. Through 7 weeks, has 110 touches.
Yep.
Dalvin Cook last year, through 7 weeks, 106 touches. So not only is Alexander Madison getting the Dalvin Cook workload, he has exceeded it. Where do you stand with Ty Chandler now? Bitch. Just kidding.
That's fair. That's fair. Dalvin and Madison comparisons pretty interesting.
They're clones. Except Madison's not taking it to the house from anywhere.
Yeah. Wait. Well, hold on. Through 7 weeks last year, you're gonna compare the touches, and Dalvin had a bye week 7 last year.
110 touches to 106. Those are the facts.
Where's the statistical
For all we know,
manipulation?
Alexander Madison might have had a bye already. I said that I think Alexander Madison outscores Jahmyr Gibbs in 2023.
Yep.
He is currently 10 more points higher than Jahmyr Gibbs at the moment. However, that one feels like it's slowly going to sink through my fingers.
Yeah. I would say, good point for you, Ben. I was about to actually bring this up, is that Akers is actually starting to get more touches.
One game.
How
How many touches? 8 touches?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Alexander Madison got banged up in that game. If you watched it, you saw him hobbling. It is his job. Now, now that we know that we can sometimes be right on the money, a.k.a. Puka, and also very off the mark, like David Montgomery and DeAndre Swift suck, it's time for Is It Real or Is It Fake? Let's see if we've gotten any better at this.
Probably not. Let's go.
Dustin, Jordan Love is still a top 8 quarterback. This is revisiting from week 3 now. 4 weeks later, he's still there. Even when it feels gross and your eyes bleed, 18.8 points per game.
Yeah.
Does he finish with more or less points than these guys?
Okay.
Trevor Lawrence, 15.6 points per game currently, 3.2 less than Jordan Love per week. Who finishes with more?
T-Law. I think T-Law will finish with more than Jordan Love.
Geno Smith, 14.1 points per game so far. Side note, someone, a.k.a. Dustin, said for sure Geno Smith is a top 12 quarterback going into this year and likely a top 10. At 14 points per game, he is not going to get that done, but does he outscore Jordan Love?
I would say there's a decent chance. That one, since they're so run heavy this year, it would not shock me to see Jordan Love still beat him out.
Because of the start or because of where they're going to finish from this point forward?
Oh, from this point on, I'm probably taking Geno.
Okay.
Yeah, he's looked pretty good. I mean, not top 12 or top 10 good. But I still think this offense has a chance to take off a little bit more. Keep DK healthy, hopefully. But yeah, I'm gonna back off that take a little bit. I was a little bit too bullish on the Geno train, but I still think I think from now on he'll probably outscore Jordan Love. But
okay,
yeah, I think that star will probably be enough to even it out, and Jordan Love might actually finish above.
All right, finally, Jared Goff, 18.5 points per game, pretty much dead even. I prefer Goff.
Goff, easy. Yeah.
Okay.
Easy Goff.
Kendrick Bourne is wide receiver 25 on the year. Did not see that coming. He went undrafted. 12.5 points per game for Kendrick Bourne in PPR leagues. More targets per game than Calvin Ridley, Drake London, Devontae Smith, and Brandon Ayuk. This feels real at the moment.
It
How
has
can
looked.
you argue the volume?
It has felt real. They have no one else to throw to. They've got guys coming on. My boy Tyquan Thornton coming back. And of course they got Demario Douglas, who undrafted guy. Rookie. He's coming in. He's got only a couple games over 50% snap share, but in those games he's had 7 and 6 targets. So, but nothing compared to what Kendrick Bourne's been able to do in this offense. It shouldn't make sense. It feels icky to throw him in your lineup, but
I'm happy
volume
to
is
start
volume.
him right now.
Yeah, I mean, like you've got some
He's
names
getting
over
it
here.
done.
Yeah, he's got more, like you said, you've got it up here. More targets than Calvin Ridley, Drake London, Devonta Smith
These are
had a
huge
disastrous
names.
first half. Yeah, Brandon Ayuk even. So, yeah, he's probably someone you can get cheap now. You could probably
Yes.
still trade because no one, even after all he's done, people will still discount it because of the name and the offense. And that's okay. Go trade someone for, I might go trade for Kendrick Bourne now.
He
And
feels replaceable,
sure.
but he's 26. Even in Dynasty, a third. I mean, you're getting somebody you
yeah.
can start.
Yeah, go. I would do a third for Kendrick Bourne. I don't know that I would trade away Kendrick Bourne for a third.
Right. Go buy him. He's still young.
Go do 2/3. Go send 2/3 for Kendrick Bourne.
I agree.
See if that works. But yeah, I like that.
Moving on, since the loss of Mike Williams,
Yeah.
Joshua Palmer is wide receiver 24 at 13.4 points per game. That is more points per game. I think Mike Williams we lost in week 2.
Something like
More
that.
points per game in that span since Mike went down. Then CeeDee Lamb, Hollywood Brown, Drake London, Chris Olave, Brandon Ayuk. Josh Palmer is quietly killing right now.
Yeah. Yeah, he's looked really good in spurts.
I want you to touch on this and then I'll shut up. I want you to touch on him redraft and dynasty. Being that he's young, Mike Williams is hurt and is also 28, Keenan Allen's 30. Where are these guys?
So Palmer, rest of season redraft, has wide receiver 2 upside each and every week. So yes, I completely agree with redraft. Dynasty wise, it's not like there's no path for him to see long-term relevance. What the team has shown and told us for years is that Palmer's not their go-to guy that they see being that other staple piece in the offense. It's always been he's wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, wide receiver 3, on the team, and then he'll fill in when needed, and then they go and draft a guy they want him to take over, and Josh Palmer's still needed. I don't see him as that guy. I see him as someone who definitely has a spot on your team because he is tied to Justin Herbert and he has this upside. If QJ doesn't pan out and Palmer's just relevant for another year or two, that's great. You're getting 3 huge years in a great offense tied to a great quarterback. But I think you're getting out of him right now probably the most that you can probably expect.
You can't sit him.
You can't sit him right now. He should be starting.
Let me ask you this for Dynasty, because I don't think the market is up to date with Joshua Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
He is currently on Fantasy Pros, wide receiver 64 in Dynasty.
Yeah.
Here's a list of all the guys and the 10 guys above him. Darnell Mooney, Jalen Hyatt, Jonathan Mingo, Michael Thomas, Kadarius Toney, Rashad Bateman, Sky Moore, Brandon Cooks, Mike Williams.
Gracious. Yeah, no.
I'm not taking any of those guys over Joshua Palmer.
Yeah.
So that moves him into the top 50. Now let's continue. Jaden Reed or Josh Palmer?
Ooh, that's tough. I'd go Palmer, but I really do like Reed.
Elijah Moore. Josh Palmer is 24 years old and is tied to Justin Herbert. Has a 30-year-old Keenan Allen. I know he's still balling, but that happens quick. From 30 to 32, things change.
Sure.
Mike Williams, 28, will be 29, coming back from an ACL.
Sure. I need to see more from Palmer. Again, it feels more of a. I don't feel like the team views him as a guy that they can't replace.
Okay.
I feel like at the next opportunity they would take another guy over him because they've shown us that. It's always not. It's never a we have a spot for Palmer. It's oh crap, we have a spot. Who can fill it? Palmer.
That's true, but he's also, again, he's been 22 and 23 years old behind Keenan Allen and Mike Williams.
Yeah,
those are a tough two to crack.
It sure is, but they've been injured most of the last 2 years, and every time he's filled in for a consistent basis, it's been underwhelming.
Flashes,
it's not to say
flashes,
yeah,
not
flashes.
consistent.
It's and that's what I kind of think you're gonna get. He has that upside, wide receiver 2 upside each week, but he's not someone I'm looking to make a cornerstone on my offense because
Sure.
You and I just made a trade, right? We made a trade in a dynasty league. I got lit up because it seemed cheap. It was Tutu Atwell, or no, it was who was it? It was Taekwon. And who else did you send me?
I sent you Tutu Atwell, Taekwon Thornton, and 2 4th-round picks for Josh Palmer. I believe Josh Palmer to be inside the top 50 dynasty receivers. We just listed 12 guys that we think he's better than.
Inside the top 50, yeah, sure. I mean, he is wide receiver 50 according to Player Profiler.
Okay.
In their rankings. So that's fair. That's totally reasonable. But he's not someone that I don't want people getting too ahead of themselves thinking, okay, this is going to be the wide receiver 2 in this offense. We just kind of yes.
We're watching his ceiling right now.
Yeah, this is exactly what you would hope for him. Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm okay if people want to sell him. I'm okay if people want to buy him because we get guys like this every single year.
Yeah.
It's a good place to be if you have Josh Palmer.
All right, Rashee Rice now has more points through 7 weeks than DeAndre Hopkins, Amari Cooper, Tyler Lockett, and DK Metcalf. The question is, what are you willing to move for Rashee Rice in redraft and dynasty? Is he actually a 12-point-per-game player?
So in a PPR league,
is he ascending?
So this is tough because this is where you really have to ask yourself: do you like and do you believe in Rashee Rice? His ceiling is number 2 option in an offense. Obviously,
I'm in.
I like him. I like him a lot. I would be willing to pay a late first for him, because that upside's there.
Yeah.
It's give me some names because would you rather have him or like right now? Christian Kirk.
Oh, Christian Kirk.
Sure.
Christian Kirk's elite. But what we were just talking about before the show, like you're saying, a late first.
Yeah.
A late first in this past rookie draft includes Will Levis, Kendre Miller, Hendon Hooker. I mean, what the fuck are we doing?
I mean, granted, that was a little different.
Every year that shit happens.
For sure, yeah. No,
Devon A-Chain went 203.
Fair. That's fair.
We don't know shit outside the top 5. Sell your late first. You've seen Rashee Rice for 7 games now.
Yeah.
With Patrick Mahomes and the other receivers suck dick. Sorry, Sky Moore. Sorry, Dustin.
Sure.
Rashee Rice is the receiver to own in that offense.
I mean, yeah, if there is a guy in that offense other than Travis Kelce, he's who I would bet on. Would you rather have him or Deontay Johnson?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's tough. That's tough because I want Deontay Johnson on a different team.
Sure,
if you told me Deontay Johnson will stay with the Steelers,
we don't know.
I want Rashee Rice.
I still have a hunch that he's going to be headed to Carolina. In that
case, I probably want Rashee Rice too.
Sure. Rashee Rice or Nico Collins?
Nico Collins.
Sure. I mean,
Nico Collins is averaging over 17 points a game.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, he's balling out.
Yeah.
But
him and Jacoby Myers, man.
The fact that we're having this conversation
Yeah.
tells me all I need to know about Rashee Rice. Go buy him. He's
Yeah.
still cheap enough. People were burned by Sky Moore. They've been burned by Tony. They've been burned by MVS. Juju. This is the same thing all over again.
Yeah. I ask yourself,
See what the
what do you
price is and
expect?
throw an
Yeah.
extra second on it. Fuck it. Go get him.
Yeah. I mean, don't be afraid to go get him. I agree. I agree with that.
All right, finally. Evan Ingram
Yeah.
is tied in 3 in targets per
Yep.
game.
Sure.
He is very disrespected at this point. Is he tied in 6 in point per game the rest of the year? 6 or better.
6 or better? Oh man. I don't know about that.
10.8 points per game so far. Does he score
Sure.
more or less than 10.8?
I feel like it's going to be less.
Why do we continue to disrespect him?
It's not so much. So
This isn't somebody who had 35 in one game and that's just keeping him up there. It's
Sure.
13, 15, 13, 15,
Right.
17,
Right.
12. Like, he's consistent.
yeah, I think there's other tight ends right now that are kind of coming on that I would rather over him. It's more so Evan Ingram or Dallas Goedert. Evan Ingram or now Dalton Kincaid, who has more of a. I'd still say Ingram over Kincaid right now, but
Redraft.
yeah, redraft. But Kincaid, Dawson Knox is having wrist surgery. We don't know how long he's going to be out. Kincaid breaks out and Dawson Knox is gone.
Yeah.
Great question, Ben. Ingram or Waller. We've seen kind of signs of life. It was a flat line for a while, and now Waller's kind of coming around. Are the Giants kind of doing what they do? There are some guys on this list that I'm thinking, man, these guys could still kind of resurrect themselves. Trey McBride, now that Ertz is kind of going on, IR, he's got,
Are you going to answer, Ben?
Ingram. I said Waller. Waller.
I'm going Ingram.
Okay. Yeah,
I still like Waller, too. I'm with Ben. I still like
Sure.
Waller. I think Waller's going to have a great week this week. We'll talk about him in a bit.
Sure.
But Evan Ingram is tied to that offense that has
Yeah.
a clear role for him for 3 more years. I don't
Yeah.
know what the fuck Waller is in 3 years.
Now,
I don't know what the
he's-
Giants are next week.
Waller is on a podcast in 3 years. That's what it is.
Probably right. I think
but-
Evan Ingram is cheap enough to where you move Waller, you're getting Ingram and something.
I feel like you can get Ingram pretty decently cheap. Yeah, like you said.
People have
especially
been
in
burned by
Dynasty.
New York Giants Evan Ingram. Yes,
Yeah.
Waller is fine right now. He's
Yeah.
much older. He's been hurt.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones sucks.
He looks not good. And they're
So-
not gonna, yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do there.
I think Evan
Drake
Ingram
May.
is a buy in Dynasty. I think you should get him in tight end premium leagues
like
and just see if the owner respects what he has.
All right, I like that. That's great.
All right,
advice.
our next segment here. This guy or that guy. We will go rest of this season. We just
All
did
right.
this guy or that guy. Did we? No,
Yeah.
we just did is it real or fake? Okay,
just
we'll
did
go
it.
rest of season, this guy or that guy.
Okay.
Tony Pollard or DeAndre Swift. Tony Pollard at 15.3 points per game. If you have Pollard and I offer you Swift and his 15.2 points per game, are you accepting DeAndre Swift?
It's hard to say no to Swift right now, but with Pollard, it feels lateral. I'm probably gonna stick with Pollard.
Pollard was a 2nd-round pick. DeAndre Swift was an 8th-round pick.
Wild.
Are you?
Wild.
So you're sticking with Pollard.
I'm gonna stick with Pollard.
Okay. Derrick Henry at 14.5 points per game with the flux that's going on with Tennessee.
Yeah. Oof.
Or Bijan Robinson, who's also in a what the fuck's going on situation, 13.6 points per game. If you have Derrick Henry and I offer you Bijan in redraft, you are clicking the what button?
Oh, the smash accept. Absolutely. I will take Bijan.
Okay. Ben, yes, Ingram is locked up contractually for 3 more years. He signed an extension. He will
Yep.
be a Jaguar with T-Law, with Doug Peterson, and be
Damn
very
right.
reliable. Isaiah Pacheco, 14.7 points per game. If I offer you James Cook, 12.8 points per game, are you accepting or declining?
I'm declining that. I want Isaiah Pacheco in that scenario. Rest of the season, I think he's going to be a running back 1.
All right, I like James Cook there. I don't know why. I just feel like with
Okay.
Kansas City running backs, they're going to burn you at some point.
Sure.
Devontae Adams, 16.7 points per game. However, he's been under 15.5 or less. Under 15.5 or less. A little
Yes.
redundant. In 4 straight games.
Wild.
Or Jordan Addison, 15
Oh.
points per game this season. Gets a couple more without Jefferson, maybe more. And then when Jefferson comes back, do you not view him like Puka? Maybe Kupp comes back and takes a little
No,
coverage away. Puka's fine.
No, I don't view Addison as Puka.
Okay, so if you have Adams and I offer you Jordan Addison, you're saying no.
If I have Adams and you offer me Addison, no, I'm keeping Adams.
Okay. Cortland Sutton, 13.2 points per game. I offer you Gabe Davis, 11.2 points per game. However, 3 out of 7 have been under 5.3 points.
Ooh.
Cortland
Man.
Sutton or Gabe Davis, rest of the way.
That is do you value kind of consistency or do you value
Who do
big
you think
plays?
I'm going to take?
I think you're going to go Gabe Davis.
Wrong. I always
Wow.
go for the guy who's consistent. Give me the 12. I want to know when I roll you out there, I'm getting 12 to 13. I don't want the 5s. Fuck the 25s.
Listen
They're
to
probably
this, though.
not
Listen
coming.
to this. 5, 7, 11. Okay, those are the first 3 weeks for Cortland Sutton. After that, it's been 5, 3, 6, and 6 targets. I'm probably going to roll with Gabe Davis because Cortland Sutton has had a touchdown in
A
5
lot.
of 7 games.
Yep.
That ain't going to continue, guys. That's not going to continue.
I've seen Gabe Davis overthrown by a yard on so many deep touchdowns. I think you're right.
Sure.
We should probably both go Gabe Davis here.
I'm going to go Gabe Davis.
All right, Jalen Waddle finally 13 points per game, or Christian Kirk 14.7.
That is so
You have
tough.
Waddle. I offer you Kirk. Who do you take?
If you would have asked me this yesterday, it would have been easy Kirk.
Okay. What changed?
Tyreek Hill might be injured, and we don't know how long that is lasting, what the ramifications are. I'm probably going to go with Kirk still, though.
Ooh, I'm going Waddle. But I think Kirk is awesome, and I think he's underrated.
Yeah.
What is it about the Jaguars being underrated?
You got to, man, watch those games. The way that they want to use Kirk, though, he's like a mini Debo
peppered.
Samuel.
He's the ball is in his hands.
They just want him to touch the ball.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's
All right, we've got
really
a
cool to
question
see.
here.
Oh, all right.
Alex Stivers. Hey guys,
do it,
playing a
man.
triple flex PPR league. My 3 flexes are currently Jordan Addison, T. Higgins, Terry McLaurin.
Love
Would
it.
like to flip one of them for a running back. Who do you think I could target? Dustin,
I
the
think-
question here in my eyes is, I'm holding Addison.
Yep.
Are you selling T high on the name and getting as much as you can, or
Is this-
selling Terry on recent performances?
I'm trying to see if this is a dynasty league. So T.
I'm assuming
Higgins-
redraft, but Alex, we would like to know what type of
yeah.
league.
Either way, a guy we just mentioned, Higgins or Terry. I'm trying to move. If it's Higgins, I'm trying to. Is redraft awesome? Go after Isaiah Pacheco. Go
With
after
who?
Isaiah. With either Terry or Higgins.
You can get more than Pacheco for
Yeah,
T.
that's what I'm saying. Is that you can get more if you go with Higgins. Probably Terry has been putting up some points in some different games. I do. I like Pacheco. There are other guys that you could probably go after. I'm trying to think of some.
How do you feel about like Terry for Ramondre Stevenson?
That's not a bad one. I feel like it's kind of a lateral move. Terry might have some more upside than that.
Okay.
Bigger upside. So
Ramondre
for me-
coming off 15 and 15.
sure.
He's getting it going.
Yeah. But that's probably who I would go after. Kind of in the same spot. He only has 2 startable running backs. Okay.
Well, fuck.
Well, damn it.
That was my guy.
But yeah, honestly, you can go after. I'm trying to think. Rashad White's had some decent games. It just depends on your league. And we lost
Uh-oh.
Travis. We lost him.
It's always something. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Don't worry, Travis. They took him. It's me and the dark screen. It's okay. But yeah,
always something.
it's okay. It's okay. Travis is still going to be with us.
I'm here, damn it. Coming back.
I wish I still had. He was offered White for Terry today, Travis.
Give me your shot.
Alex, I would
Give me Rashad.
I would still go with Rashad over Terry. Just volume alone, especially in a PPR league. I don't think they're trading for a running back. That team is not in a position to go and acquire more talent. And they're not going. They're in a rebuild financial wise. They're not going to go and trade for a Derrick Henry. They're not going to bring another back. So I think
I would take that.
I would take that.
It allows you to keep Addison and T. And Terry is going to be inconsistent, not because of his skill, because of the Redskins. I mean the Commanders.
Right.
There will be inconsistency there. I would take that.
Sure.
They have no reason to trade for Derrick Henry. I do not see that happening in Tampa Bay.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't worry about that. Everybody's been rumored to trade. If anything, the only rumor I believe is the Ravens trading for.
Yeah, I can see it.
Trading for Henry, and that would make sense.
All right, week 8, this guy or that guy. Before we get to our big picks,
let's do it.
Just this week, Joe Mixon versus San Francisco, or
Yep.
Alexander Madison versus Green Bay. Pick one.
I'm gonna go with Alexander Madison.
I'll go with Joe Mixon. Kareem Hunt versus Seattle, or Brian Robinson versus Philadelphia.
Ooh, so Kareem Hunt didn't practice, probably a veteran rest day. Brian Robinson has not been great.
Jerome Ford is not playing.
Correct. Talk about that backfield, man. I really like Pierce Strong, but I still think it's going to be Kareem Hunt against Seattle. I'm not touching Brian Robinson against Philly.
I go Kareem Hunt as well. Javonte Williams versus Kansas City, or Deontay Foreman versus the Chargers. Dustin, is Roshan back?
He is back, but that does not deter me from going with Foreman, only because coming off a concussion, Foreman's already shown that he can get some work in. Javonte, I love the talent, but man, Kansas City's defense is for real, and that offensive line for the Broncos just does not get it done. Go ahead and watch the tape from a few weeks ago. Kansas City owned that game. I do not see that changing just a few weeks down the road when they've had the chance to get healthier and Chris Jones is more in shape. So, no, Foreman for me against the Chargers.
All right, moving to quarterback. Kirk Cousins versus Green Bay, or C.J. Stroud versus Carolina, coming off the bye, the Texans.
This is a really good one. Kirk Cousins versus Green Bay is really, really tough. They seem to go back and forth. Kirk Cousins has had some pretty big games, but he doesn't always have the games where it's like multiple touchdowns. I'm going to go with C.J. Stroud against Carolina, who's been struggling lately.
I think Stroud balls out this week. Russell Wilson versus Kansas City, who you just spoke about their defense, or Gardner Minshew versus New Orleans.
Oof, this one is tough. The Saints have not been super great. How
do we feel about Russell Wilson in general and picking him in any scenario? I would pick you over Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
that's how much I despise him.
I'm leaning Minshew just because I believe in the offense of the Colts more than I believe in the offense of the Broncos.
I agree.
I'm not playing quarterbacks against the Chiefs right now.
I prefer Minshew as well. Amari Cooper with P.J. Walker at quarterback versus the Seattle Seahawks, or Joshua Palmer versus your Chicago Bears.
That's an easy Palmer for me with P.J. Walker playing in Seattle. Yeah, they've not been great, but they've got some decent coverage guys. I'm going to go with Palmer against Chicago.
All right, final two. Josh Downs versus the Saints, or Garrett Wilson versus the Giants.
This is an interesting one. Josh Downs versus the Saints is not a bad matchup. I think that Michael Pittman is more in danger of being shut down in this game rather than Josh Downs. But Garrett Wilson versus the Giants probably having decent volume. That's really tough. I'm probably still going to go with Dude, goodness. I'm going to go Josh
Yeah,
Downs on this one.
baby.
I'm gonna go
Now
Josh
we're
Downs.
talking. Josh Downs over
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson. We are fully into fantasy football
Yeah. This is
2023.
wild.
Deontay Johnson versus Jacksonville or Jacoby
Yeah.
Myers versus Detroit.
That is easy Jacoby Myers for me.
Okay.
So quarterbacks do well against Jacksonville this year. Jacoby Myers does well against everybody, and especially passing against the Detroit Lions has been favorable to say the least. Jacoby Myers.
Jimmy G should be back.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers is no joke in every week top 14, 15 play.
Okay.
He's just getting the work.
All right, that moves us on to the finale, if you will, our big picks of the week. We do these every week. We make a call, one person at each position,
Yeah.
guys that we think will drastically outperform their rank or their projection on the week.
Damn right.
A few of these guys I'm projecting inside the top 5 at their position. I will start. Dustin just mentioned a few minutes ago, CJ Stroud coming off the bye. I think Houston offensively lights it up against Carolina. Tank Dell is back. Dalton Schultz has been absolutely in fuego. And Nico Collins is nice. I think CJ Stroud finishes the week as a top 5 quarterback.
I love that. I love that. I'm going to go with my quarterback big pick of the week, Sam Darnold.
Wow.
Yeah. And we're going to throw up the big picks graphic here. Look, I'm a fan of Sam Darnold now that he's the starting guy, maybe just for the week, but something about a 1 week, adrenaline rush for Sam Darnold coming back against Cincinnati. Yeah, Cincinnati's been pretty decent. But look, it's the 49ers. I don't care if they don't have Trent Williams. I don't care if I don't have a partner that I can see on the podcast.
I'm fighting my battery here. My voice is still here for all the podcasters.
I'm going with Sam Darnold, my big pick of the week.
Would you pick him? Would you pick Brock Purdy if it was Brock Purdy starting?
Yeah, I would.
So it was going to be San Francisco quarterback regardless.
Probably not. But I just like Sam Darnold and the narrative to come in, and I think he's going to be a little bit extra motivated. I like this. It's a revenge on the NFL.
It's the curtains and the drapes and all that.
Yeah,
okay, gotcha.
For sure.
All right, Ramondre Stevenson, my running back star of the week. Big pick. Game script should lead to Ramondre Stevenson catching 6 to 8 passes. He did not do that against Miami in week 2. But I think Miami's offense is absolutely humming. Coming off the loss, they're going to be quite motivated. I think Tyreek is fine. Running back 6 and running back 15 the last 2 weeks for Ramondre. He has shown some life. I think he's an RB1 this week. I don't want to say he's inside the top 8. I think that 9 to 12 range is pretty safe.
Sure.
The ceiling will be limited with a healthy Zeke. So...
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything crazy, but I think he does break the 15 to 18 point mark this week.
Wow. Okay. I like that. Should be a high scoring game. And in terms of New England, that means they'll probably score 15 points.
New England will be coming from behind.
Hey, that's gross. My big pick of the week. My big pick of the week at the running back position is none other than Rachaad White. Alex, if you're still listening, Rachaad White is my big pick of the week. He's facing Buffalo, who is 8th worst in fantasy points given up to the running back position. And like I said, especially in the PPR league, he just gets all of the work there. Chase Edmonds will be coming back probably next week. But this week, Rachaad White is the guy I'm targeting in that offense, and I really like this matchup. Very juicy. I think he'll if he doesn't score, he's going to get enough work to be relevant. So I'm all for it.
What we're going to do here is we're going to turn off the camera for about a minute, let it charge up, because there's always one outlet that wants to fuck with me. So we will go wide receiver big pick of the week, Jordan Addison.
Woo!
Double digits in the target range last week.
Love it.
Wide receiver 1 overall. Didn't see
Number
that
one.
coming. However, Luke Sawhook did. He said Jordan Addison goes crazy this week. Luke
Wow.
Sawhook, not somebody that I would say gets everything right, but he did
No
get
one
this
does.
one right.
No one does.
Most ranks have Jordan Addison this week in the 15 to 20 range. I think
Okay.
that's a bit low for my taste. I like him inside the top 5. Once again, they keep him away from Jair Alexander, who can be burned anyway, although he would have you think that never happens. We've seen
Sure.
people do it. Equinemius St. Brown, to name one.
Damn right. Damn right. My wide receiver big pick of the week is Rashee Rice. And
Yes,
Rashee
sir.
Rice gets a sick matchup against the Denver Broncos, and we love when wide receivers get to face the very terrible defense of the Denver Broncos. Nobody gives up more points than the Denver Broncos.
Breakout game here?
I think so. I'm looking at the numbers here, and man, it looks good for him. It just looks good. His number, he's trending up, and
Under 100 yards.
I don't think he gets to 100 yards.
Ooh.
But I do think he's going to score in this game.
99 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he gets 99 yards and
You're
a touchdown.
a fucking idiot. Your face is like, I hate you.
Yep, thank you for that. Appreciate it.
99 and a quarter yard. All right,
Yep.
Darren Waller, number 5 for me, and number 5 in targets on the season. New York Jets
Perfect.
giving it up to the tight end. Absolutely, people have been devouring them from the tight end position. Number 2 in points allowed to tight ends.
Yeah.
And Dustin, who else are they going to throw to in New York? Meaning the Giants.
Yeah. I don't.
Don't
I
say
mean,
Wandale, because he'll get 3 or 4 maybe.
He's gotten some work in previous weeks.
This is somebody who bought a share of Wandale.
I bought many shares.
He's kind of like Rondale,
No.
but with a speech impediment. But they look the same. They look the same
my
on.
God.
They look the same on the field. They sound
What's
a
that-
little
what,
different.
They look the same, huh? Do you think they look the same? Okay, real nice. Real nice.
About 5'4", big old helmet, run real fast like a little hamster, and disappoint you in
Jesus
fantasy.
Christ. Oh, Darren Waller's probably a good pick there. I like that. I like that for this week. My tight end big pick of the week is Taysom Hill. Oh, you know what? He gets a matchup against the Colts, and it's not necessarily so much about the matchup. You know, I don't always want to read the tea leaves and say, is this team giving up a whole bunch of points to the tight end position? Because you know what? It's more about the usage. It's gone up the last couple weeks. Snap share rising. He's got 13 targets the last couple weeks. Hasn't had a touchdown, and I expect that to change because you know what? They just love using him. I'm looking here, and
He did have a touchdown last week.
Did he?
I know because
No.
I started him.
Okay, maybe he did have a touchdown. Not a receiving touchdown. Okay.
They went from the 1 yard line. They went Kamara,
Yeah.
and then on 4th down said, "Fuck Kamara."
Yeah.
Bring out all the receivers and running backs and Derek
Sure.
Carr and just
Yep.
put Taysom Hill in there with the O-line. And he
And
scored.
that's-
He walked
yeah,
in
that's-
untouched.
That's the nice. You get those added bonus opportunities in different scenarios with Taysom Hill. And look, this isn't exactly a week where you have to go trying to find, scrape the bottom of the barrel for streaming candidates, just because the entire league is playing. There's no bye weeks this week.
Oh, I didn't know that.
so-
Interesting
yeah.
fact there.
So Taysom Hill is playing, obviously, but I like him over a lot of the options this week. I think he's going to get into the end zone again. This just feels like a game where Indianapolis is not going to let Kamara be the check down king, and Taysom Hill might get some really prime real estate opportunities. So
I like it.
I like
repeat.
Taysom Hill.
Another
yeah.
big back-to-back weeks for Taysom.
Yeah, Taysom Hill. Let's do it.
That's the show. Bring us out.
Man. Yeah, man. So make sure you're following us on Twitter at Losing Sucks. Follow me at Dustin Blanton. We'll catch you guys during the weekend while we're talking, different things. Catch us on Twitter. We're having a lot of fun. As always, losing sucks. Don't do it.